Alright, grass fans, it's the middle of July 2020, and I've been almost a full year reviewing the Jonathan Green Black Beauty Ultra Supreme grass seed. But today I'm going to shift gears a little bit and show you what my new project is. This is called Groundwork brand Ultra Premium Tall Fescue Grass Seed Mixture. 50 pounds, $79 at Tractor Supply. And actually that's a pretty good price for tall fescue if it works. It says drought tolerant, low maintenance, covers up to 20,000 square feet, guaranteed to grow. Dark green color, grows best in sunny areas. On the reverse, it doesn't really say anything about burying your grass. It just says loosen the soil, spread it evenly, and it has a spreader chart. And it says just rake lightly. So this is something I might not even have to split seed. Let me show you where we're going to put this. If you've been following my other videos, this will look pretty familiar. This is just to the south of my driveway here. And I did not use the Jonathan Green in this area. Instead, I used just a generic brand of annual ryegrass last fall. I had pretty nice grass all winter long, but in May, early June, this was completely dead. I really don't have anything to show for this area right here. So, I'm thinking that I'm just going to take an area, maybe about 15-20 feet this side of my irrigation pond, out to the road. It's not that big of an area, but it is tough conditions. This used to be a parking lot right here. I did till it up last year. Today I'm not planning on tilling. I'm going to use my Sun Joe dethatcher and see if that won't loosen this up enough for me to just rake it out of the way where I can expose some soil. And then I'm going to spread it. And we'll keep an eye on this for a month or so. I mean, you know, it's July, temperature in the 90s all week. I don't worry about the rain because I do have my irrigation ability here. And we're going to give it an honest test to see if you can plant fescue in the middle of the summer in central North Carolina with, I won't say heavy shade compared to my front yard, but I'll say almost heavy shade. In the early morning hours, the sun does shine in this area. All right, let's get started with the Sun Joe. This is my Sun Joe dethatcher and scarifier. I swear this is one of the best tools I've ever invested in. It's less than 150 bucks on Amazon. And it comes with two types of cartridges, cylinders. You either have the dethatcher, which is a whole bunch of little wires, L-shaped wires, that would remove thatch and loose vegetation. And it also has a scarifier cylinder, which looks like blades on a boat propeller. It will actually put furrows in your yard, which if you watch my videos from last year, that's how I was able to quote unquote slit seed my front yard. Let me point out something about adjusting the height of this thing. Boy, this is almost impossible to see. But as you face the front of the mower on the left side, you'll see a little handle. This is your height adjustment, and it adjusts from 0, which if you have a new mower, a new dethatcher, that should put your little hooks right at ground level. You can go -5 or -10 millimeters. In other words, you can go about 1/4 inch deep or 1/2 inch deep from whatever level the wheels are sitting at. Or you could go 5 or 10 millimeters above the level of the base of the wheels. So 1/4 inch down, 1/2 inch down, 1/4 inch higher, 1/2 inch higher. I suggest that you start no deeper than 0 on your first pass. If you go too deep, it's not going to hurt anything, I guess, except it'll wear those little hooks out real fast. So mine are about wore out. I've probably used this on a 1/2 acre or so, and they do wear out kind of fast. But anyhow, we're going to make a pass here with my worn out hooks at 0. And if that doesn't do the trick, we'll just make another pass at -5. If we have to, we'll go all the way down to -10. All right, completed the first pass, went up and down. It only took a few seconds, less than 30 seconds. And it looks like it did loosen up a lot of the dead grass. I may be able to just come out here with a rake or my leaf blower and just blow this stuff right off, which would expose the soil. But anyhow, for my next pass, I'm going to try going down a 1/4 inch deeper and just see how that looks. Well, that second pass was a 1/4 inch deep. Definitely dug in a little farther. And as I said in the beginning, you know, my little blades on the thing, the little wire blades, are just about wore out. So if it was new, I would keep it at 0 or maybe even raise it up a 1/4 inch. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it a 1/4 inch deep and finish this little project. Oh yeah, that looks pretty darn sweet right there. Now this is not the Scarfire cylinder. This is just the this is the dethatcher. Let me turn this thing over. I'll show you what it looks like. If you had a new one, these little wires would have a little hook on the end of them. You see, it does a pretty good job of picking up dead grass and stuff. This is not the Scarfire, but I think it's a big help for seeding the lawn. But I'm going to go ahead and get my leaf blower out and just blow this area, unless I start moving loose dirt. But as long as I'm just blowing these little twigs and leaves and dead grass, I'll try and get that out of the way before I sow that new seed. All I did was use an electric leaf blower, and it very easily got all that thatch right up. Just pushed it off to the side. I'm not doing a very big area. And we did get a little bit of rain last night, so I think the wet soil added weight to it to where I was not pushing any dirt around. The only thing I was moving was light twigs, grass, and thatch. So I think enough of this ground is exposed without me having to do anything else right now. I'm going to go ahead and sow the seed. That bag of fescue seed did not have a listing for a Scott's Edgeguard Deluxe spreader, rotary spreader, but it had just about everything else on there, so I just went ahead and set it at 4. And it looks like I got pretty fair coverage of the seed, but as it was coming out of the spreader, it didn't look like much. But when I turned around and looked behind me, I could see that it was pretty good coverage. And it looks like a bag of this stuff could go a long way. All right, 2 things that I'm not doing that you may think I need to do. First thing that I did not do was cover the seed up. You know, I blew all the thatch off of it after I had dethatched it with a sun joe. That exposed the dirt, and the directions say just take a rake and lightly cover the seed. I'm not going to. I want to keep an eye on this seed and give it a week or so, and just to determine if I can see the seed starting to germinate. If it wasn't midsummer, I'd go ahead and follow the directions. But I'm curious to see what this seed does. I can always reapply. I only applied it in one direction anyhow. I'm going to give it a week or so and just kind of watch it. And then I'll probably put another layer of seed down, and at that point I'll either rake it in, or I'll just go get me a couple of bales of peat moss. I have a peat moss spreader. I'll just top it off with peat moss. All right, so those two things I did not do. Hope they don't come back to haunt me. As you can see, I am irrigating it. I've got 2 sprinklers going right now. These are my cheap sprinklers I keep talking about. They were made by Gildar or Gildan or something like that. I found them a couple of years ago on the JC Penney's website. I ordered them. I think first time I bought them they were like $5. But the last time I bought some, and I bought 6 of them, they were $2.74 or $2.76. So I haven't been back on there to check availability. It may have been a closeout item. I don't blame them. Can't make much money shipping a $2.74 sprinkler. It probably eats into your profit when you got $12 sprinklers sitting on the shelf and nobody buying them. That's just a guess. I'm using a ram pump to bring water from the creek about 450 feet away from here into this 1,000-gallon pool. I've got a 1.6 horsepower transfer pump. It produces 60 PSI. I haven't measured that, but I know it puts out a lot of PSI. I can run a sprinkler all the way up to the top end of my property here, which is maybe 600 or 700 feet. And that's just with garden hoses. So anyhow, now it's sit down, drink a beer, and wait. We'll check back later and see if we have any progress. Now when you get to be my age, you get so forgetful. I told you there was 2 things I didn't do. I went ahead and signed off. The second thing I did not do was fertilize. And you can look at this water. My pump's a little distracting. I'll get over here. This water's coming directly from the creek. And if we don't have any rain, it's clear water. If we have rain, it's stained water. And we did have some rain. I haven't been using fertilizer because this stuff comes, we have a berry field on this side of the creek, and on the other side the neighbors have a cattle farm, and both properties angle down towards the creek. So I'm assuming if those cows are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're keeping that side of the creek pretty well fertilized. And I know that every time I use this creek water, I end up with mushrooms and stuff. So I think there's a lot of nutrients in here. As you can see right now, I'm just discharging the stuff coming up through the ram pump because my pool is full. I'll irrigate my yard today for a couple of hours and get it down low and swing this thing back around. I'll start filling my pool back up. I can get a pool full twice a week. All right, that's the sign off.